The story begins with a little girl calling out to her father, asking him to watch as she swings high in the playground. She tells him that her teacher asked why he did not attend the kindergarten parent-teacher conference the previous day. In response, she proudly explained that her father is a hero who is currently injured and unable to move. She also shares that her mother is being bullied again and that she secretly saw her crying at night. With tear-filled eyes, she pleads with her father to wake up soon. Choking back tears, she asks once more if he will teach those bad people a lesson. Moments later, a bully approached the little girl, calling her a little bastard and laughing at her for crying. She firmly responded that she was not a bastard. The bully sneered and claimed he had heard that her mother had been fooling around before she was born and had finally found a crippled man to take the blame. Anger flashed across the little girl's face as she jumped off the swing. She warned the bully that if he insulted her parents again, she would beat him up. However, the bully shoved her, mocking her by asking how she planned to fight him. The force of the push sent her tumbling to the ground, causing her head to hit the swing. The bully then spat on her and threatened to gouge out her eyes if she dared to look at him again. The little girl, furious, bit the bully's hand, making him cry out in pain. His mother, witnessing the scene, rushed over to help her son and cruelly kicked the little girl. With anger burning in her eyes, the little girl glared at them, which only provoked the bully's mother further. She demanded to know why the girl was looking at her that way, then grabbed her roughly and ordered her to kneel and apologize to her son. At that moment, the little girl's father, who had been sitting silently in his wheelchair, suddenly radiated an intense aura. His body trembled, and his eyes snapped open. As the little girl questioned why she should apologize when the bully was the one who insulted her first, the bully's father stepped forward, grabbing her by the hair. He coldly asked if she still refused to apologize. At the same time, the bully's mother slapped the little girl across the face and demanded once more that she apologize. Tears welled in the little girl's eyes, but she remained defiant. She cried out that she would never apologize and declared that they were all bad people. Infuriated, the bully's father raised his hand to strike her. But before he could, Lin Feng, the little girl's father, suddenly intervened. With a swift movement, he grabbed the man's arm and neck, lifting him off the ground with terrifying strength. His gaze was cold and unwavering as he issued a chilling warning, "My daughter is not someone you can lay a hand on." His voice darkened as he continued, "Anyone who dares touch her, will die." Lin Feng slammed the bully's father to the ground, his grip tightening around the man's neck as he choked him. Witnessing the scene, the bully's mother panicked. Her voice trembled as she shouted at Lin Feng, insisting that he couldn't just attack someone like that. Desperation filled her eyes as she threatened to call the police. But before she could react further, Lin Feng turned to her and delivered a sharp slap across her face. She stumbled back, stunned. His expression remained cold as he stated, "That slap is for you." He then cast a chilling gaze over both of them and warned, "Remember this day well. You bullied my daughter, and I spared your lives. That mercy alone should be enough for you to reflect on, for the rest of your lives." A few years ago, Lin Feng fought and defeated thousands of enemies on the battlefield. As he struggled to catch his breath, a group of warriors arrived and surrounded him. They acknowledged Lin Feng as worthy of becoming the supreme, yet declared that his fate was sealed. He was destined to die at the hands of the 7 sons of the Western Alliance. Lin Feng calmly responded, stating that he had guarded the area for 6 years and would continue to do so. Without hesitation, the 7 warriors launched their attack, but Lin Feng skillfully evaded their strikes. One by one, he eliminated them, leaving his enemies in disbelief. They could not comprehend how such a feat was possible. Standing tall and proud, Lin Feng told his enemies that they were too weak, no stronger than the 10,000 men who had attacked him before, yet failed to shake even an inch of his glory. As the remaining warriors leapt to strike, he declared that if anyone was to blame, it was them. With unwavering resolve, Lin Feng swiftly eliminated the last of his foes, proclaiming that they would all serve as mere stepping stones on his path home. The battle ended with Lin Feng emerging victorious. However, as he stood amidst the fallen, a sudden cough escaped his lips, blood staining his mouth. Despite his injuries, he knew he could not afford to fall there. His daughter, Bella, still needed a bone marrow transplant. Back in the present, Bella clung to Lin Feng's leg, calling out to him. He smiled warmly and beckoned her into his arms. As he carried his daughter, his expression turned cold. He commanded the bullies to kneel and apologize 100 times each, or face the annihilation of their entire families. The bullies bowed and knelt, apologizing and admitting their mistakes. Bella, carried by Lin Feng, sobbed and declared that her father was bad, insisting that both she and her mother hated him. However, Lin Feng comforted her, assuring her that no one would bully her again. Through her tears, Bella revealed that she had told everyone her father was a hero, but no one believed her, and her mother was deeply saddened as well. While comforting his daughter, Lin Feng realized that he was not yet fully healed. However, he worried that if he had not woken up, Bella would have continued to face humiliation. Noticing the concern on her father's face, Bella asked if he was feeling unwell and urged him to put her down. After gently setting her down, Lin Feng reassured her that he was fine. He patted her head and suggested that they go home to see her mother. Bella hesitated before explaining that her grandmother had said her mother needed to meet with Uncle Sun that afternoon and had refused to let them return home. Lin Feng was puzzled. Who was this Uncle Sun, and why had they gone to such lengths to keep him and Bella away? Lowering her voice to a whisper, Bella told her father to pretend to faint so she could push him away. Amused, Lin Feng smiled and agreed to follow her plan. Lin Feng moved to his wheelchair and pretended to faint. In a loud, panicked voice, Bella acted distressed, asking her father what was wrong and why he had suddenly woken up only to be unable to move. She then turned to the bullies and announced that she was going to find the police. The bullies, caught off guard, stammered in confusion, insisting that it was obvious just moments ago. Before they could finish, Bella quickly pushed her father away, leaving the bullies standing in stunned silence, struggling to comprehend what had just happened. Bella and her father, still in his wheelchair, arrived home. The moment they stepped outside, Bella's grandmother saw them and scolded her harshly for bringing Lin Feng back. "We're just tired, Grandma," Bella tried to explain, but her grandmother cut her off, shouting for her to be quiet. Pointing an accusing finger at Lin Feng, she snapped, "Never call that cripple your father again." Bella clenched her fists and firmly replied, "But he is my father." Before her grandmother could say another word, Bella suddenly heard a voice. Turning toward the source, she saw a man stepping out of their house. Leaning closer to Lin Feng, she whispered, "That's the Uncle Sun I was talking about." Just then, Bella's mother, Sheena, spoke up. Facing Sun Yan, she hesitated before saying, "I want to reconsider the marriage." Sun Yan smirked confidently. "That's good. Take your time, but I promise, you won't regret choosing me." As he continued walking, Sun Yan noticed Bella and gently squeezed her cheek while asking Sheena if the adorable little girl was her daughter. Sheena's mother then questioned what she was waiting for and ordered her to see Sun Yan off. However, Sheena refused, insisting that she would not do so. Instead, her mother stepped forward and offered to see Sun Yan off herself. She then ran toward him, calling out for him to wait and asking him to recount their conversation from that afternoon. Meanwhile, Bella whispered to her father that the man was the one trying to force Lin Feng out of his corner. Sheena approached Bella and gently took her hand. She then said that she understood how difficult it must be for Bella to take care of her father. Bella looked up at her mother and asked if she was planning to find her a new father. However, Sheena quickly dismissed the idea, telling her not to talk nonsense because there was no such thing. But Bella insisted, saying that she had heard Uncle Sun mention something about it. Sheena noticed some bruises on Bella's face and asked if she had gotten into another fight. In response, Bella hugged her mother tightly and insisted that she had simply fallen by accident. Sheena sighed before gently telling her that they should head back to the house to clean up. Inside their room, Sheena attempted to talk to Lin Feng. This made Lin Feng wonder if she somehow knew he was awake. Sheena continued speaking, admitting that while she knew he couldn't hear her and wasn't conscious, it still wouldn't be fair if she didn't say what was on her mind. Lin Feng was stunned by her words. Sheena gently held Lin Feng's face and went on, saying that he had risked his life to save Bella, and thanks to him, Bella had grown up healthy. With tears in her eyes, Sheena confessed that she wanted Bella to have a normal family and experience true happiness. Because of that, she was considering marrying Sun Yan if he could treat Bella well. Her voice trembled as she hesitated, then stood up and turned away. I'm sorry, Lin Feng, she whispered before walking away. As Lin Feng watched his wife walk out of their bedroom, a wave of sorrow washed over him. All those years he had been absent, Sheena must have endured so much. Suddenly, he sensed someone else in the room. His eyes shifted toward the bathroom, where he noticed Zhang Sheila standing inside. She gazed at him with pity, convinced that he was still unaware of Sheena's decision to remarry. Believing Lin Feng was unconscious, Sheila let her towel slip to the floor. She then reached out, gently holding his chin, and smirked. Such a pity, she murmured. You're quite handsome, but completely useless. Suddenly, Sheila's phone rang, prompting her to leap onto the bed and answer it. With a playful tone, she greeted the caller as her future brother-in-law, and said hello. The caller, presumably Sun Yan, asked if Sheena was using the things he had given her. Hearing this, Lin Feng couldn't help but wonder if it was indeed Sun Yan on the other end of the line. Sheila casually responded that she didn't think it was necessary since her sister would belong to him sooner or later. Amused, Sun Yan then asked what Sheila wanted him to buy for her this time. Without hesitation, Sheila listed luxury brands of bags, shoes, and accessories. Sun Yan chuckled and agreed, as long as Sheila ensured that everything he wanted was taken care of. Sliding off the bed, Sheila smirked and urged him to say in advance exactly what he expected from her. She then added that once he married Sheena, he should get rid of all of Sheena's clothes. She found them utterly unappealing. After dressing, Sheila left the room, completely unaware that Lin Feng had heard everything. Sitting there, Lin Feng thought about how Sheena had always put Bella's happiness first, sacrificing so much for their daughter. He had no complaints about her decisions. But after overhearing Sun Yan and Sheila's conversation, a deep sense of unease settled within him. Moments later, a girl named Xiao Qing swiftly entered the room through the window and knelt before Lin Feng, addressing him as Supreme and greeting him upon his awakening. Lin Feng questioned why she was there instead of guarding the frontier. In response, Xiao Qing acknowledged the importance of the frontier but insisted that Lin Feng, the Supreme, was far more crucial. She further stated that Lin Feng was the embodiment of an era-defining battle, one so formidable that no one dared to challenge the frontier. Lin Feng then asked if she had anything else to report. Xiao Qing informed him that during the 2 years of his recovery, countless enemies had surfaced around him, including members of his wife's family. However, her subordinates had refrained from taking action without his command. Thus, she had come to seek his permission to eliminate them and, if possible, allow him to personally deliver justice in one decisive strike. Upon hearing this, Lin Feng remarked that it seemed certain individuals had already begun making their moves during his absence. Lin Feng then ordered Xiao Qing to begin with a man whose surname was Sun, and demanded all available information on him. Xiao Qing immediately acknowledged the command and left the room at once to carry out the task. Moments later, Bella entered the room, her eyes filled with excitement, and turned to her mother with a cheerful voice. She announced that she had a big surprise. Lin Feng, still resting, was taken aback by her enthusiasm. As Bella and her mother approached him, Bella began recounting a story to Sheena, the tale of a prince who awakened a sleeping princess with a kiss. With a bright smile, Bella eagerly declared that if her mother kissed her father, he would surely wake up. Startled by her daughter's words, Sheena gazed at Bella in silence for a moment, unsure how to respond. Then, with a gentle smile, she patted Bella's head, calling her a silly girl, and reminded her that it was just a fairy tale. However, Bella remained persistent, insisting with unwavering belief that her father would indeed wake up. Seeing her daughter's determination, Sheena chuckled softly and admitted that she couldn't argue with her. With a deep breath, she cupped Lin Feng's face in her hands and placed a gentle kiss on his lips, wondering in her heart if her husband would truly awaken. Bella playfully covered her eyes with her hands, though she peeked through her fingers as she watched her mother kiss her father. In her heart, she imagined the moment when her father would wake up. Her mother would surely be jumping up and down with joy. However, to Bella's disappointment, Lin Feng did not wake up. Confused, she stepped closer to him, staring at his still form, unable to understand why the kiss hadn't worked. Sheena gently holds Bella's hand, comforting her as she softly said that Lin Feng was not going to wake up. With a sigh, she added that she would have to find Bella a new father. Hearing this, Bella's expression twisted in anger. She pushed her mother away, her small hands trembling, and accused her of being a liar. She reminded Sheena of the promise she had made, not to find a new father for her. Tears welled up in her eyes as she turned back to Lin Feng, gripping his fingers tightly. With desperation in her voice, she pleaded for him to wake up, insisting she didn't want a new daddy. Sheena watched her daughter with a heavy heart, unable to hold back her tears. Bella needed her father, but Lin Feng, he couldn't. Bella continued to cry, pleading with her father, insisting that she knew he was awake. She begged him to tell her mother that he was well. However, Lin Feng could only apologize to Bella in his thoughts. To expose Sun Yan's true nature, he could not wake up just yet. He had always followed the rule of planning carefully before taking action. Sheena embraced Bella, gently assuring her that perhaps her father would wake up someday. But for now, Bella needed someone to take care of her too. Bella, however, tearfully responded that she only wanted her father. She questioned why he had fallen silent again when he had just promised to listen to her. Feeling betrayed, she called him a liar. Sheena then lifted Bella into her arms, urging her to be a good girl and not argue with her father. Meanwhile, Bella, still distraught, asked if he wanted to watch as her mother found another father for her. Sheena brought Bella to her room and watched over her until she fell asleep. Her sister, Sheila, then entered the room and reminded her about the dinner party that was about to start. Sheila questioned why Sheena was still at home, then grabbed her arm, urging her to leave since they needed to exchange gifts. She also remarked that once Sheena and Sun Yan got married, she would have everything she wanted. However, Sheena was not listening. She simply gazed at her sleeping daughter, silently apologizing in her mind. Meanwhile, Xiao Qing arrived at Lin Feng's room with the information she had gathered about Sun Yan. She also informed him that today was Sheena's birthday and that Sun Yan was hosting a banquet at the Jiangzhou Hotel, where Sheena was expected to arrive in about 40 minutes. Lin Feng took the documents from Xiao Qing and thanked her for her hard work. As he read through them, he discovered the ruthless tactics employed by the Sun family. With a determined expression, he instructed Xiao Qing to prepare, because he intended to celebrate his wife's birthday. Sheila and Sheena arrived at the hotel, where they were greeted by the receptionist, who inquired whether the two beauties had a reservation under Mr. Sun's name. Sheila nodded in confirmation, prompting the receptionist to express how fortunate they were. She explained that Mr. Sun had personally arranged for a private room, something not easily reserved. With a warm smile, she welcomed them inside. As they stepped into the lobby, they were taken aback by what they saw. The receptionist's expression suggested she was unaware of the surprise, but Sheila was mesmerized. She turned to her sister, marveling at the breathtaking sight before them. Moments later, Sun Yan appeared, though he couldn't help but wonder why the entire hotel had been reserved. After all, he had only booked a private room. It soon dawned on him that his father must have arranged it. Sheila smiled, nudged Sun Yan with her elbow, and praised him for the impressive preparations. Suddenly, a child came running toward them, calling out Sheena's name. The little one stopped in front of her, holding out a surprise gift, a large diamond ring. Sheila's eyes sparkled with excitement at the sight of it. Sun Yan took the ring, then dropped to one knee before Sheena. Looking up at her, he asked the question everyone had been anticipating: would she marry him? The onlookers watched in awe, amazed not only by the grand gesture of reserving the entire hotel but also by the extravagant diamond ring that was about to be offered. Sun Yan gently took Sheena's hand and gazed into her eyes, vowing to love her wholeheartedly, care for her, and always stand by her side. With sincerity in his voice, he made his promise, his expression filled with devotion. Sheena's cheeks flushed as she prepared to respond, but before she could speak, the curtain beside them suddenly parted. Xiao Qing, startled by the interruption, questioned whether the Supreme was about to have them thrown out. However, Lin Feng calmly told her to wait. His eyes remained fixed on Sheena, silently wondering what her answer to Sun Yan would be. Sheena slowly withdrew her hand from Sun Yan's grasp and told him that this was too sudden, asking him to give her time to think it over. Sheila immediately reacted, questioning her sister about what there was to even consider. She challenged Sheena, pointing out that Sun Yan was in no worse a situation than a crippled plant at home. In Sheila's mind, if Lin Feng never woke up, who would take care of Bella? Sun Yan laughed, though there was a hint of offense in his expression at